So one of the things that is very central is like invest in your own development. This sounds very egoistic or egoic. I don't mean it like this. I mean, in my understanding, we are all parts of a much larger game, a much larger story. And the only way that we can get away from comparison and from good intentions and our emotional body taking us somewhere else is by finding the place where we unfold our highest potential in service of life. So we always have to come closer to that. Otherwise, good intentions to be nice to other people or supportive just don't work. That's one thing. The other thing is that sometimes we say there are these logical ideas about love and love free of fear. And yes, I understand with my mind. I'm always a little bit careful. There is an intellectual way where you understand certain thought lines formally. But I wouldn't, yeah, that's true. And then you have another emotional reaction. But there's also a line of really having a realization or an insight. And that's another process. The moments where I had a real insight about the nature of love and the nature of my fear really changed something in me. And so this comes sometimes too quickly that the thought is good, but I cannot follow it. If the thought is good and I follow the thought with consequence and with commitment, like regarding the jealousy, I came to the point where I understood like jealousy really does not make any sense. And it changed my life. And the next time when the emotion came and I thought like, oh, I'm so jealous that she does something, I had the possibility innerly to say, wait a second, what is really going on? And to go to the healing layer that was relevant in my life right now, so that I'm not triggered by something and then I call it jealousy and then I'm busy on the outside trying to change other people. Because in the end, there is an investment we have to do in our own healing. Yeah, so, and then there is something very different when you have thoughts by yourself and you try to live up to your great thoughts and your great ethical ideas of being human, and you live in a culture where that finds not confirmation anywhere. So I do believe there needs strong effort in self-development, but I believe equally we need settings, we need environments, we need a culture and a society and in the end a civilization where actually this ethical, right ethical behavior and orientation is met with resonance. So I love this idea that in the project we had for many years, that actually what would a group of people look like that do not give resonance to each other in the wrong behavior, where my anger is no evolutionary advantage anymore. It's also not morally wrong. It's not like, oh, you're a bad person because you're angry, but you also don't get what you want. You cannot hijack other people and say like, oh, I will be so angry until you give me what I want. No, it's like just no resonance to that level of emotional behavior. Sometimes in courses we manage to create such an environment, and it's magic. It's really an environment where healing can appear. Yeah. And then there's something where it also has to do with regaining dignity. If there's a thought, an ethical guideline that I understand and that I believe in, I can break it. Also very banal. End of the year and I pledge I don't smoke anymore, the next day I smoke. It does something to my self-esteem. And the same is true with ethical or unethical behavior. And it's not like God will punish you according to your behavior, but there's something inside which always counts. And I don't even mean it negative counting. I mean there's something that registers whether you stay true to what you believe. And every time you don't, when you get more sensitive to what's going on inside, you notice that you actually weaken yourself or harm yourself. And there's also a place of dignity where I say like, look, I know this drives me crazy. It makes me really afraid, but I will not follow that anymore. It's also a point of civil disobedience against your own behavior patterns, where you go like, no, I won't do that anymore. I know it's wrong. I know it's really hard for me right now to hold it. But then I fall asleep and the next morning I feel better because I didn't do it. I didn't go there. It's very tricky to talk like this because it always comes to, in myself, to this system of be good or not be good. I don't mean it like this. I have a very high image of what it means to be human. And every time when I don't act accordingly, I just have a question to myself. I put it very gently. And when I do it often, I start to not love me in that place and to not trust myself in that place. So I think this kind of regaining your dignity to follow your ideals and what you really believe in is really important.